Tune in to Travel Pro TV, sponsored by World Travel Inc. and their preferred suppliers. Host Connie Wallace and guests discuss everything travel from local to global. Now, here's Connie and today's guest.
Welcome to Travel Pro TV. I'm your host, Connie Wallace, and our show today is all about expeditions. And I'm so excited because we have AURORA Expeditions, and we have Chris Anderson, VP of North America Sales, and Anita Gonzalez, who's the Director of Sales, with us today. So, welcome, ladies. And I have to say that I'm so thrilled also because Anita is actually a native Rhode Islander. Well, not native, but lives on Block Island, yes, which is beautiful. So we'll talk about that another time. But let's talk about AURORA Expeditions. So expedition travel is so popular right now. So that's why I'm so happy that you're here. So tell me about AURORA Expeditions.
Yeah, so, AURORA Expeditions has been doing expeditions for 34 years. And in fact, we were founded by a real-life adventurer who was only one of two people to this day who's ever scaled Mount Everest without oxygen. So we like to say we were founded by an adventurer for adventurers. And so that his name is Greg Mortimer. In fact, one of our vessels is named after him. So we've been in the expedition world for quite a number of years. We are world-renowned, considered experts in this experience, and we really look forward to bringing guests down into these regions. And our mission at AURORA is to create lifelong ambassadors of the planet. When Greg started to bring his friends down to Antarctica first, he noticed that his friends came back changed. They just became aware of the planet and how fragile it is and how beautiful, and how you just learned that we really do need to take care of our planet. And so he started to bring guests, and that's really how AURORA was founded.
I love that because that's so important to me and should be so important to everyone. So awareness of taking care of our planet and adventure as well. And adventure travel we know is so very popular right now too. So tell me, what is unique about, besides what you've already said, unique about AURORA Expeditions?
Yeah, so we are quite unique. We like to say that we offer small ships and big adventures. And our small ships really are something that truly sets us apart. We have the newest fleet of small ships that call on the polar regions. In fact, our ships do not exceed 130 guests in these regions. And that's really important because there are laws where you're only allowed to have 100 people on land at a time. And often we've got other guests out in the water doing activities, which we'll talk about. But that's very important because that enables us to offer more landings for our guests, because you're making these Zodiac landings, right? When you're coming ashore, you're in these Zodiac boats and you're coming ashore. So we are able to offer more Zodiac landings a day, sometimes 2, 3 a day. And then our guests are able to spend more time on land because we have such a small number of guests on our ships. Also, there are a few things, Connie, that set us apart that we're very proud of. Something else that sets us apart is the fact that our ships are purpose-built. So our ships are built specifically for the polar regions. We have 3 very new purpose-built ships. The first one was built in 2019. 2022 came our second ship, and then our third ship is coming out the end of this year. So these ships are designed to truly glide through these regions, which I think we'll maybe talk about it again in a little while, but truly amazing experiences, state-of-the-art, absolutely beautiful. We also are very big on education and enrichment for our guests because, again, you just naturally become, curious and you want to learn while you're there. And so we have an amazing team of expedition leaders. In fact, we have the highest ratio of guest to expedition leader in the industry in this space of 1 to 7. So for every 7 guests, we have 1 expedition leader. And that's very important because they're really there to just become a part of the experience for our guests. And you just start to really learn just through experiencing with them and through their eyes. And then finally, and this is a real big one for us, so I saved one of the best for last, I like to say, is our activities. At AURORA, we offer experiences that are truly bucket list. I mean, these are bragging rights. Imagine that with AURORA, you can snorkel in Antarctica or the Arctic. You can scuba dive in Antarctica and maybe Arctic. We'll see. We're working. You can do that sometimes there. You can kayak, paddleboard. You can camp on a glacier. You can ski. You can snowshoe. There are so many things that we afford our guests the ability to do. So when you're coming back from an Aurora experience, I mean, truly, you've captured some lifelong memories and some true Instagrammable moments as well.
And all of those experiences truly are incredible conversation starters. So what kind of people go on your expeditions?
Yeah, that's what's fabulous about Aurora. We appeal to multi-gen families, so children starting at the age of 8 are able to experience us, right up to someone, we've had someone in their 90s on. You know, at Aurora we like to say if you can climb a set of stairs and you're fairly, you know, you can hold your balance, right? You can experience an expedition. And our team is there to assist, and then we have different levels of activity, right? So if you want to just take that stroll with the penguins along the beach, you can do that. And if you want to scale half that little mountain, you can do that, or you can go the whole distance. So there really is something for everybody.
And I assume that there are different experiences for different types of travelers and different levels of activity. And that's where your travel advisors come in, because they really can guide you and make sure that that experience that they are planning for you is exactly what you want and what you need, and how you're going to feel comfortable, and how you'll really experience something that you have never before.
That's right.
So, and we have some of the best travel advisors because our title sponsor is World Travel Inc.
Exactly.
So we're really thrilled to have them. So let's see, there's so much to talk about. What are the most popular destinations?
So currently Antarctica is a very popular destination,
I would think so.
And one of the things that, as Chris was saying, we do the best. We have the largest number of itineraries on Antarctica. You go from 9 days to 34 days.
How many different itineraries
11
do you have?
different itineraries.
Wow, that is a
yes,
lot.
yes. And then the Arctic is also a very popular summer destination. But with the new ship, the Douglas Mawson, we've actually added 19 itineraries in the Mediterranean for more, yes, for more educational and more.
What destinations in the Med?
Oh wow, we could go from Morocco to Barcelona. We've done the Greek islands. We've done up and down the Costa Rica. We have Costa Rica trip, but up and down from Venice down to Dubrovnik. We circumnavigate Ireland, we circumnavigate Scotland, the British Isles, and we also are in Indonesia as well.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, right, we do call on Costa Rica, Patagonia, Scotland, the Faroe Islands, Iceland, Greenland, Northwest Passage, so many other destinations as well.
Well, we still have so much to talk about. We just have to take a quick break right now, but we'll be right back with the Aurora Expeditions.
Back to Travel Pro TV with your host, Connie Wallace, and today's guest. Travel Pro TV is proudly sponsored by World Travel Inc. and their preferred suppliers. Now, here's Connie.
We're back with Travel Pro TV and Aurora Expeditions, and I have a quick question that I just want to touch on before we get into a different topic. What can you tell us about how Aurora Expeditions ensures a balance between adventure and safety?
Yeah, safety comes first, always, right? So we have a crew that is highly trained, right? All of our operators are very experienced and licensed. Our captains are licensed to navigate in these ice regions, which is very important. Our expedition team is highly trained. Often our expedition team has lived in these areas and they know these areas intimately. And so this is a highly trained crew. And of course our ships that are purpose built are designed for safety as a maximum, right? We are carbon neutral. We have dynamic anchoring so that we can position the vessel in areas where it's safest to do that. We have water filtration systems on board that just again ensure safety for our guests as far as being a little bit more environmentally conscious. And then of course flexibility is key in ensuring the safety of our guests, right? We are guided by weather. We are guided by Mother Nature. And so every day, our day can change based on the weather. And so we watch very closely what the weather can do, and then we navigate according to that. So we really like an expedition really is an adventure. We'll say from day 1 to 5, this is the region we're in, because we don't know within those 5 days exactly what those weather conditions will be, because again, we're always looking at ensuring the safety of our guests as a
That's
priority.
great to know,
Yeah.
and I know it's very important. So let's talk a little bit about environmental and cultural responsibility. I know that's a big thing, especially with this type of an experience and adventures.
Yeah, it certainly is. And in fact, Aurora Expeditions is a certified B Corp, and we're proudly carbon neutral. And it's a very stringent process to become a certified B Corp. It takes several years to make sure that we have all of the steps that we've taken, whether it's social responsibility.
Can you explain a little bit to the audience what that means?
So, certified B Corp means benefit for all corporation. Okay, so we want to give back to the communities where we are visiting. We are socially responsible, where we really look at sustainable travel and responsible travel. We source locally from the ports of call. The food and wine comes from the regions that we operate in. It's all about giving back, like I said, to the communities. When you talk about cultural exchanges, when you go into somebody's community where you've never been and you sit down and you have coffee with the locals, in fact, in Greenland, we visit the Inuit.
Really?
Yes, and you sit and you're with them, and it truly is life-changing. We live here, and once you step out of this comfort zone and you're sitting there and you're having coffee with a mom and her daughter and then her mom, and you're talking about what they do and how they fish and how they get their food, and you go back a completely different person than when you stepped on the ship. And that's one of the things that we really try to give to our guests.
And all travel is life-changing, but this especially is so unique and something that you really cannot experience every day, that you would take with you forever. Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, how about the client experiences? What can a first-time traveler expect on an Aurora Expeditions journey?
I'll tell you, what they can expect is to have an experience of a lifetime. Often we hear that this was, at the pinnacle of their bucket list of travel. Often, Antarctica is the 7th continent that most aspire to visit, so that they could complete that checklist of continents. And really, you go there one way and you come back changed. It's just magnificent, and our expedition team is there to guide our guests, through the experience and through the learning. But because of the intimate size of our ships, 130 guests, right? You're a family. You become a family almost immediately. There's camaraderie. Everyone's learning together. Everyone's having these awe-inspiring moments together, and so you just gel with this delightful group of people on board. And we're Australian owned, so the Aussies like to have fun, let's be honest, right? So there's a really delightfully relaxed experience on board as well. We offer amazing service, amazing cuisine, and at the same time we're offering that first-rate true expedition experience. And this is another key differentiator with Aurora, because at Aurora, our guests don't necessarily have to make a decision. Do I want a great land experience, but the vessel, not so sure, it's a little old, it's a little whatever. Or do I want to have this amazing onboard experience, and then I might not get on land today because the ship is too big and the weather might change. So we really do offer the best of both. And another thing that we're really known for are solo travelers. You would be amazed at how many solo travelers we get on Aurora, predominantly women. And so this is a huge market for us. And it's because we have such a warm and welcoming environment that our solo guests can come on, and you're just made to feel a part of the family. In fact, we're so proud of this, and Anita's actually spearheading this for us, but we're the first expedition in the world ever to have a women's only expedition.
Woohoo, I love
that.
Yes.
In fact, we have a NASA astronaut who will be our guest on board, a female NASA astronaut on board. So, these are the types of experiences and how a guest can experience Aurora. It is an absolute delightful experience.
That's amazing. And it's so surprising but wonderful to hear about all the solo travelers, and that a lot of them are women.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Little girl power, right?
Yeah, I know. And I have known for a long time that solo traveling is a big part of this industry, and that there's not always the freedom that there should be to allow solo travelers to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
in a way that is
Right.
accessible.
Right, and we actually have some no solo offers on. I will say this because it really is a huge thing, and if there's anyone out there listening who is a solo traveler, this is going to make them want to call Travel Pro and talk about Aurora, because on all of our vessels, every itinerary we offer 10 staterooms at a no solo supplement. That's huge.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's
That is huge.
Yeah.
I
So
know that.
for
Coming
anyone
from the
who's
cruise
solo
industry.
out there, this is a great
I know that's
opportunity.
huge.
Yeah.
So now that you mentioned that, I want to take a second to mention to our viewers, if you go to our Facebook page, just go to Facebook and look for Travel Pro TV and leave us a comment in the form of a travel question, and we may just use it on the air. So let's talk a little bit more about client experiences. I know you mentioned the cuisine. What can they expect?
Yeah, so I've been on board. So Anita has not quite been on board yet. The cuisine is fabulous. You know, I've in my career in travel, I've been focused on the luxury side of travel, and the cuisine on board Aurora is absolutely fabulous. While we don't have gold flecks in our food, we like to say, right? It's not that. But you are having an amazing variety of cuisine. The food is fabulous. And so our guests will not be disappointed on Aurora.
They won't go hungry,
At
that's
all.
for sure.
At all.
Okay, we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be right back again with Aurora Expeditions. Thanks for watching Travel Pro TV.
Back to Travel Pro TV with your host, Connie Wallace, and today's guest. Travel Pro TV is proudly sponsored by World Travel Inc. and their preferred suppliers. Now, here's Connie.
Welcome back. We're back to Travel Pro TV with Aurora Expeditions with Chris and Anita. So there's so much more we have to talk about, but we don't have that much time left. So let's talk about the expedition leaders and their expertise, because that's important to our viewers.
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, they're all highly trained and they truly are experts in their field, right? We've got glaciologists, ornithologists, marine biologists. I like to say we have all the ologists. And these are people that are truly passionate about what they do, and they've lived these lives often. So they really are the experts. And so part of their sharing is our learning. But something else that our expedition team is a very integral part of is a program that we have on board where our guests can participate. And this is called our Citizen Science Program. And this is super cool. This is where our guests get to actually partake in certain different types of experiments and observations. And you really, this is how you really just become a part of the experience and you feel like you're giving back. For instance, when I was on board, I was able to go out into a Zodiac and we collected phytoplankton, water samples with phytoplankton. Now, why do we care about phytoplankton? Well, I didn't know either before I went on Aurora for the first time, right? But phytoplankton is a major food source for our whale population, right? And so we want to measure those levels to ensure that, you know, that we're not, you know, global climate change isn't impacting that, right? We look at over farming of krill, right? We're conscious of ensuring that krill is not being overmined. And krill, since being on Aurora, I've learned is something that's found in protein powder and our skincare, right? So now, Connie, you know, I won't buy skincare if it's got krill in it, even if it's going to make me look 30 years
I'm
younger.
making a note of that right now.
So
no
these are
krill.
these are the things that change you, right? But you can also go up on deck and do a cloud survey. You can do a bird survey where you can look and see, well, what types of clouds are in the sky at this time of year and these types of weather conditions in this specific area. And the same thing with birds. And then what's really cool, and we do others, we do like 9 different observations. But what's really cool is we aggregate all that data and we send that out to different scientific organizations, including NASA, where they aggregate that data and they incorporate that data into how, you know, we're going to look at how we manage certain things around climate change or the environment. You really feel like you're a part of it, and this is how you become a changed person.
I feel like I should applaud right now. So talk about, you talk about an immersive travel experience. This is an immersive travel experience on steroids with a purpose. And I just love that.
Yeah.
That's so great. So I think we only have a couple of minutes left because we have so much to talk about. So let's talk about memorable stories. I know that they've got to be very memorable stories from past experiences that stand out. What can you tell me?
Yeah, you know, you're in the most majestic part of the world, the most remote part of the world, and when you're in that zodiac, in the complete silence, and just maybe listening to the ice, or just listening to absolute nothingness with the most pristine blue skies and the most beautiful ice, you know, mountains of ice or icebergs around you, or there's a pod of whales just 50 feet away and you're watching them swim around you as curious as can be, you know, and listening to them talk to each other. And you know, and then let's talk about the penguins. You know, you're walking along the beach and the penguins, they don't know to be afraid of humans, right? So they're just walking along with you. And I don't care what anybody says, you can never see enough penguins, like you just can't, right?
I agree.
It's just, you know, so having these amazing...
And I'm looking, we have beautiful footage. Do we have penguins?
You can't see enough. So, you know, the seals, and just to watch everything and be a part of it. And then on Aurora, you can just stop and take it all in, because we don't rush our guests on land and, you know, hurry and have a look and get back on because we got to get the next group on. It's not like that at Aurora. So you really can go and enjoy and get your zen and just take it in and really be a part of it. You know, these are the things that just really change you. And, you know, we like to say, oh, well, you only go once to Antarctica if you go. Not so much. A lot of our guests come back because it's that magnificent, or they choose to go to Arctic.
It sounds like it. I'm ready to go right now. Sign me
up.
Go
to Arctic and see the polar bears and see the different whales again and the seals, and it's magnificent.
That's wonderful, and this has been so great. Thank you so much, Chris and Anita from Aurora Expeditions. I'm Connie Wallace, and this is Travel Pro TV. And as always, thanks so much to our title sponsor, World Travel Inc.